going on today? I first read this article. I read about this before, this drone, but then some of the information it made me wonder. This one here says this company is selling $500,000 flying vehicles that look like giant drones and can be flown without a pilot's license. Austin startup Lift Aircraft calls Hexa its electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, the future of personal flight. So far, it's been compared to a drone and a flying car. Hexa is essentially a recreational vehicle for the air, able to fly in 15-minute intervals at low altitudes. Lyft plans to market them to millennials with disposable income and anyone chasing adrenaline because a pilot's license isn't required. The COVID-19 pandemic delayed plans, but Lyft still says it is touring locations across the US where anyone meeting height, weight, and age requirements can pay to fly. As of November 2019, Lyft says it had more than 15,000 flights on a wait list to ride Hexa. So I'm thinking there, because they said it compared to a drone and stuff, is that really true? You can fly this humongous thing without a license and everything, yet for things like a pro-consumer drone, they need you to get license to fly that, even in your own backyard or something like that? Just I'm looking at the site, it says meet Hexa, an entirely new type of aircraft that anyone can fly. It looks very video game-ish, I guess you could say. It says distributed electric propulsion, 18 independent electric motors and propellers are the only moving parts needed for a perfectly stable controlled flight. And as you read more, it tells you again how simple it is. It's kind of funny saying 3-axis joystick is all you needed to fly. Make it sound like you're, I guess, flying a drone, over the box one. But then specifically it says ultralight. With an airframe built entirely of carbon fiber, Hexa weighs in only 432 pounds. Only 432 pounds, huh? And it's compliant with the FAA's powered ultralight classification, so no pilot license is required to fly. Don't worry, we'll give you plenty of training. Just try to wrap your head around that in terms of, I guess, a safety perspective. Ultralight in a drone world is less than 250 grams? That is considered safe. Whereas this, something, over 400 pounds is considered safe without a license and stuff? Is this entirely true down there? Maybe I'm missing something and they're not saying something, where you do need to get, I guess, licensed or regulated in some ways. But even if we're looking at the pictures, I'm just wondering how far this thing actually flies in practicality and all that. 15-minute flights as well. Sounds more I guess, an amusement park ride or something like that. But again, I find it a little weird where you can fly this, it's perfectly fine. This said no license, but you can't, with a drone. And one interesting note that was kind of interesting just from reading this site, you can see this quote here. It says, Lyft is using technologies that have matured in the drone industry to democratize human flight, a natural progression that will soon provide a clean, exciting, and efficient alternative to sitting on congested roads burning fossil fuels. And you can see the quote, it says, Colin Guinn, if that's how you say it, 3D Robotics, DJI North America. I was like, what? And I was immediately thinking back, oh yeah, I remember when I first flew drones, I was researching about companies, which drone to buy, GoPro, for example. I had that Karma, I was gonna get that actually until I saw the Mavic. I remember reading this story how apparently when DJI was, I guess, small, there was someone that basically used their products. He was on a reality show or something like that, and he was heavily promoting DJI products in North America, and he was claiming, I guess, he was the one that made DJI really big, I guess, in North America. I read it from this article before, which dealt a little bit, I guess, with the history of DJI and this person. It says, bow to your billionaire drone overlord, Frank Wang's quest to put DJI robots into the sky. This is a really old article too. It says here, more than 5 years old. And it talks about how, I guess, they met, I guess, DJI and that person. It says, it was in Muncie that Wang first met Colin Guinn, a well-built Texan whose angular looks once graced reality TV show The Amazing Race. Guinn, who ran an aerial cinematography startup, was looking for a way to shoot stabilized video from a UAV and had reached out to Wang by email to see if a young Chinese company had a solution. Wang was working on exactly what Guinn needed, a new kind of gimbal that used onboard accelerometers to adjust its orientation on fly so the video frame remained still despite drone's shaky flying. After initially meeting DJI executives in Muncie in August 2011, Guinn flew out to Shenzhen and eventually formed DJI North America in Austin, Texas, a subsidiary aimed at delivering drones to the mass market, with Wang's blessing. Guinn was given 48% ownership of the entity, with DJI retaining the remaining 52%. Guinn was put in charge of North American sales and much of its English language marketing, quickly developing a new model for the company, the future of possible. The relationship initially went well. Wang remembers Guinn as a great salesman whose ideas sometimes inspired me. And I guess with that eventually came the Phantom drone, and we all know what happened there. Now DJI is a juggernaut in the industry. But that's apparently when things got sour. It says, yet things had already started falling apart between Wang and Guinn. DJI's founder didn't like that Guinn was taking credit for the development of the Phantom and was calling himself CEO of DJI Innovations, a title that still stands on his LinkedIn page. Sources also said that Guinn also rushed into setting up partnership agreements, particularly one with the action camera maker GoPro, which would have been an exclusive camera provider for DJI drones. Wang got cold feet in the deal and went against Guinn's advice, subsequently angering GoPro, which is now rumored to be developing its own drone. That was the karma, and it didn't end up very good, as everyone knows too. And with that, according to this, they tried to dissolve, I guess, the business relationship by buying him out. But it says by May 2013, DJI attempted to buy out Guinn's stake in DJI North America, offering DJI global shares that would have given the American a paltry 0.3% stake, according to court documents. And from the sounds of it, they basically settled out of court, but they dissolved, I guess, the whole North American company. But he's basically arguing it's because of him that why DJI is even known, like in the US and stuff like that. Who really knows? It's kind of interesting though to know the history of stuff like that. I guess with that story, which one would you believe? Is it a guy trying to take advantage of, let's say, a quote, small company and basically use it to his fortune? Like they say here, I guess, claiming he was the one responsible for this and so forth. Or is it like a company taking advantage of someone where once they got all they wanted, like, we don't need you anymore? Alright, see you guys later.